Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. Our top story on this Monday, it's back to school for nearly 20 million learners as academic year 2024 to 2025 officially opens, despite some areas still reeling from the effects on Typhoon Karina and southwest monsoon. The Department of Education says some school facilities will need replacement and certain schools may have to hold classes outside the traditional classrooms. According to DepEd, a total of 19,870,531 students have been registered in public and private schools, including state and local universities and colleges, and the Alternative Learning System or ALS. Of the number, about 17.3 million students are enrolled in public schools. Most of the enrollees are from Calabarzon, totaling 2.8 million, followed by Central Luzon with 2.2 million and the National Capital Region with 2.1 million. Meanwhile, class opening in some 842 public schools is postponed today, including 452 schools in Central Luzon, 225 in Metro Manila, 95 in Ilocos Region, 66 in Calabarzon, and 4 in Sacsargen. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police has deployed around 30,000 police officers across the country for the opening of classes in public elementary and high schools. PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo said officers are instructed to conduct patrols in the school's vicinity and to establish police assistance desks. Police officers will also coordinate with schools officials to discuss and implement security measures. In other news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says the 17 Filipino seafarers held hostage by Houthis in Yemen are safe, following Israel's attack on the port of Hodeida. In a statement, the President assured the family of the victims that the government is committed to securing their safe return. Meanwhile, the Philippine Embassy in Saudi Arabia, Charge de Affairs Romel Romata said they are closely monitoring the situation. The seafarers are part of the crew of the MV Galaxy Leader, which was hijacked by the Houthi group in November while sailing to India. The vessel has 25 crew members, 17 of whom are Filipinos. The Israeli strike on July 20 was in response to the Houthis' drone attack on Tel Aviv on July 19, which resulted in 1 death and 10 injuries. The United Nations reported that at least 9 people were killed and 83 wounded following the strikes on Hodeida. Houthi says the attack is retaliation for the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza, with Tel Aviv announced as a target for their new drone Yafa. The UN says that these recent events have made the situation in the region even more precarious. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has created an interagency task force to quickly address the impact of the oil spill in Limay, Bataan. This came as President conducted an aerial inspection in Bataan, Pampanga, and Bulacan to assess the oil spill from the sunken tanker MT Terra Nova and the damage caused by Typhoon Karina. The task force will be led by the Office of the Civil Defense. Marcos ordered the Department of Environment and Natural Resources to conduct water and air quality tests, while the Health Department would check on the health of the residents. The Philippine Coast Guard will evaluate the condition of the tanker, while the DILG will coordinate with local government units. Meanwhile, the Labor Department and the Department of Social Welfare and Development will provide livelihood programs and aid for the affected residents. The task force will coordinate with Oriental Mindoro Governor Bons Dolor to get his inputs on his province's successful response to the oil spill that hit province last year. On Sunday, the Coast Guard said it closed off 9 leaking valves in the Terra Nova's cargo tank, which hold 1.4 million liters of industrial fuel oil. Meanwhile, another fuel tanker sank off Manila Bay near Mariveles, Bataan on Saturday afternoon. The oil tanker, identified as the MTKR Jason Bradley, sank 9 meters deep near Barangay Cabcaben. The Coast Guard said the divers have found and sealed diesel fuel leaks on the tanker. The PCG is now working on the removal of the ship's diesel cargo. Help continues to pour in for victims of the recent calamity. The military is donating part of their subsistence allowance to victims of Super Typhoon Karina and the southwest monsoon. Armed Forces Chief General Romeo Browner Jr. said government troops will donate 50 pesos, or the equivalent of 1 meal from their subsistence allowance. Browner says the AFP's collective effort and selfless sacrifice reflects its commitment to aiding those affected by this disaster and showing solidarity and compassion. Various search, rescue, and retrieval teams from the AFP are still deployed in Metro Manila and southern and northern Luzon as part of humanitarian assistance and disaster response efforts. Last Saturday, the Chinese Embassy in Manila and the Philippine Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry donated 3.5 billion pesos worth of relief goods to flood-hit families. The Chinese Embassy said at least 3,500 relief packages were given to beneficiary families during the donation drive. In Tondo, Manila, Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian led the relief drive for typhoon victims alongside Manila Vice Mayor Yul Servo. Wang expressed solidarity with the victims and prayed for the early resumption of their normal lives. As of Monday, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council reports the deaths from the combined effects of the bad weather, with 4 million individuals affected. Students will have to brace for rains at the start of a new school year as the southwest monsoon continues to prevail over most parts of Luzon. Weather Bureau Pagasa says the Habagat continues to affect the western section of Luzon and several parts of central Luzon. It will bring cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms over Ilocos region in the provinces of Benguet, Abra, Zambales, and Bataan. Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, the rest of Cordillera region, and the rest of central Luzon may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. The rest of the country could expect isolated rain showers in the afternoon or evening. Meanwhile, Pagasa is monitoring a low-pressure area which was last tracked at 220 kilometers northeast of Apari, Cagayan. The LPA has not affected the country and is unlikely to develop into a tropical cyclone for now. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Serbisha Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under the Pna News. I am Brianna Fernandez and this is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.